who are other artists who've very obviously, blatantly put all this ancient mystical information directly in their music that people have overlooked. And I use John Coltrane as an example. I think that's the guy who made the triangle the popular thing for the major seventh
That's
symbol.
correct. And the line for the minor. But really, so many of them, like you get, Ozzy Osbourne, Black Sabbath. I mean, you know, and you got your, uh, I mean, all these people, right? I can see for miles and uh, the Beatles, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. I mean, of course, that went negative, talking about LSD, but they're trying to, they're all trying to be deep. I would say all of them are trying to be deep. Anybody that writes poetry, lyrics is kind of tapping into that world.
Yeah.
Mm. Every band name, if you don't use your own name, then the name you're going to choose is probably going to be something symbolic. Now if I use Regi Wooten band, of course that doesn't say anything. But if I pick another name, it's going to be something symbolic, like you see what I mean? But yeah, especially during the '60s. I mean, just Iron Maiden. They got that big robot up there. What about Kiss? They all look like angels from some other world. Gargoyles. That's the image they're trying to put across. You see what I mean? Mythology and imagination. Nowadays, the music has changed quite a bit. It's more gotten to realism. You see what I mean? I think that's killed the industry myself. You see me?
I
Because we have enough realism. When it
got
was
to say,
imagination, we actually built the industry. The imagination built the industry. There was no industry, like Van Halen said it on a Smithsonian. He said it really good. He did a really good speech, Van Halen, at the Smithsonian, about the industry is no different. He says when he came on, they built the industry. There was no people just started investing in them because it was what was happening, which is so true. Like Van Halen he said they were just playing. They were going to make their money anyway. But people saw them and said, we got to sign them. So they did that. Same thing with John Coltrane. They made Impulse Records just for him. Got Creed Taylor, CTI Records. That was just for those guys. George Benson. Those labels didn't. You got King Records. They put James Brown. James Brown came out of jail. They put his face on the cover. You see, on the when you bought a King Records, James Brown's face was on it. This was an ex-convict. Later on, he went up to higher labels because it was a small label, but he went to bigger labels, Polydor, stuff like that. So yeah, you make the industry. Once again, this goes into why you learn all this science. You make something out of nothing. The industry doesn't exist. Elvis made like Nat King Cole. His royalties built the Capitol building in L.A. That whole building. That tell you. I think they got a sign that's his building. I mean, he built that building with his royalties. So you can make an industry. That's how powerful. I know Hendrix and all the stuff he did. All this Dave Matthews crowd, Deadhead crowd. That's all the Hendrix crowd. He made it. That didn't exist before. A lot of motorcycle gangs, or not gangs, but motorcycle communities. There's a lot of my friend Taylor plays. He's making a living playing in this heavy metal band, and all they play is the biker places. That's all Hendrix. That's all Hendrix. He's riding a motorcycle on this thing. That free thing. People left their jobs. I have another friend that's a little bit older than me, Cliff Richmond, a great guitar player. He was born wealthy. He's supposed to go to Harvard and all that. He saw Hendrix play, and he denounced it. His dad and them, they didn't know what he was going to do, what he was doing. But to this day, I mean, he plays guitar. He's done really good in life, but I mean, so not that a lot of people were influenced. Music influences everybody. To me, nobody. Let's take Bob Marley, a guy from Jamaica or wherever he's from. I mean, he wore his hair like this, so not everybody wears their hair like that. You see what I mean? So we imitate our artists. We never imitate our leaders like presidents, and we don't imitate them. I don't dress like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, John F. Kennedy, Obama, Biden. I don't dress like them. I don't say anything they say. But Jimi Hendrix, Bob Marley, Elvis Presley, I'm studying them. You see what I mean? Their names are stuck in my head. I mean, so you never want to underestimate the power of music. And I always tell my students all that time. They underestimate the power of music. They don't know what hit them. Just because they couldn't see it, they thought they knew everything about it. And next thing you know, they're victims of it. And that's the way I make my living. I know that the crowd doesn't know anything about music. They don't believe in it. I play a lot of old school stuff anyway. And the way I'm playing is scientific. I'm using stuff from the 50s in my music, from the 60s, from the 70s, and the 80s. You see, I'm using these techniques. They don't know what they are. And it works every time. It worked back then, so it works now. But people think they know already. You see what I mean? They watch television, American Idol, or something like that. Now they know about music. It's like, no, you don't even have a clue. You see, you don't have a clue. And so that's how I make my living, with my brothers, Victor, 5-time Grammy Award winner, Joe, 3-time nominated Grammy Award with Steve Miller, been there with him for 27 years. Roy Wooten's got 5 Grammys sitting in the other room over there. You see what I mean? So it's not that I'm gifted or anything. It's just this is what I'm working at. You see what I mean? It's legitimate, scientific, fundamental. It's to stay focused. You see what I mean? Sam, I hope that makes a little bit of sense to you.